And I remember that night we called Daddy and said, we're so disappointed. Sorry, we will meet. And by then he had gotten a job in Abuja. So she was living with him in Abuja. That was the plan. And then we're like, we're so disappointed. We're never going to come to Abuja to visit him. And he started to cry.
He started to cry.
Yes. He started to cry. So you can imagine all of the stories I've been sharing. And all of a sudden, mom comes and says, Dad impregnated a woman. In they would announce if maybe somebody misbehaves, they will actually announce it in the front of the church and say this person is not. They used to call it abe bawi. That means you're put under discipline. Yes, something like that. So would they call my father out in the church to put him on that? So that means
because he was
he won't be an elder again. And then I started thinking of all of those things, and I think that was my first experience with disappointment.
No judgment here, just a friendly ear tuning every day. Bring your worries near. Life couch show, let the heartbeats flow. With AD we heal and grow. Life on the couch with AD. Talk it all out, set your mind free. Life on the couch, stories we share.
Hello everyone and welcome to Life Couch with Faye D. Here we talk about things that happen to the everyday people. We talk about life issues and experiences with the hope that a person out there will learn a thing or two. We discuss issues. And what I know is when people relate with these discussions, it will help you understand that there is hope and you're not the only one going through whatever situation that you are in right now. These are shared experiences. We may have differences, but we all are in the struggle of life. Oftentimes, we don't realize that our actions or inactions affect people around us, whether as parents, children, brother or sister. And sometimes these actions have effects that these other people take forward in life. This morning, we have a guest here, a beautiful, eloquent, smart, go-getter. I won't finish. My guest here will be sharing her life experience with us. And her name is Doyi. I have her name saved on my phone as Adonia. Because we all know her. That's her brand. Hello, Doyi.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm excited to be here.
Yay, I'm excited to have you. I know that today, because I know you are energy number one. How are you doing? How has it been?
I'm very good. It's early in the morning. I don't know. I'm not a morning person. I'm not an evening person. So who am I? I'm an afternoon person.
You're an all-day person. I don't even know because... Anyways, thank you so much for agreeing to be here.
Thank you.
And sit still. We have a lot for you in the store. So We'll start by you introducing yourself.
Okay, my name is Adara, and I am, what do you want me to say about myself?
Everything.
I'm a child of God. I'm a kingdom entrepreneur. I believe so much in having a compelling vision as a compass to live your life by. And that's basically what I do with my life.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Doyi, I know there's more that you do. You want to tell us. And what I really want to do as well is, like when you will put your contact detail, people see that. So whatever it is you do, there's, in case people want to reach you.
Okay, yeah. So, So as I said, I believe in having a compelling vision. To lead your life by, and when God gives you a vision, is showing you, is giving you different assignments, around that vision. So I started with a company called Adara Beauty, and Adara Beauty is focused on beauty services generally and products. We have stores in the city of Calgary. Also, we started to expand into Adara Collective, and that's like a dream to bring women, business entrepreneurs together.
That's such a good idea.
Yes, and that's another version of my vision. It's another expression of my vision. And then I do have something we call the UIB community. It's a coaching community for women. We organize conferences, and we also do like a year-long coaching program for women.
Nice.
Also, we recently expanded into real estate as well, and real estate for me, I was asking God, why am I doing this, right? Why am I doing this? Money is good, but beyond money, you also want to have some impact. Like, why are you doing this? Yeah. So all of my expressions are basically to help women live fuller and more expressive lives.
I always think of doing as someone whose brain is actively working, like 24/7. It's like, what can I do here? What can I, that's how when I see doing, that's what you represent. And talking about passion, because I sing, there was a time I was asking God, why do I have so much passion for this? And I wasn't even, that good, because I didn't start singing from the womb. I started singing like later in life and everything. And somebody told me, I think I was ranting to the person. I was like, if I'm not good, let me just not. The person was like, there's a reason why not everybody has this passion. But when God puts that passion in you, then he wants you to take action.
True.
So don't doubt yourself. True. If you want to expand into 10 other places, as long as God puts it there, there's a reason he knows you can do it.
Absolutely.
I just thought I would encourage you that way.
Thank you.
Now, let's go into the meat of the matter. So can you describe your relationship, or maybe describe your family? What's your family structure?
Okay, so growing up, I grew up in a Christian family.
Okay.
We attended EQUA. Okay. And my dad was an elder in the church.
Okay.
EQUA is Evangelical Church of West Africa, so it's not popular in the north. I'm from Kwara State. People call me Northerner.
In the north
but
or
I'm not
south?
a Northerner. What?
It's not popular in the north?
It's more popular.
Okay, more. Okay.
It's more popular.
Yeah, because I know
northern part of Nigeria.
than
It's
here.
more popular in the northern part of Nigeria. But we are originally from Kwara. That's probably the only church in all of our villages. And then they had branches in Ibadan where I grew up. So it was a family church. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody almost knew everybody's houses, knew everybody's families, knew everybody's villages, and we'll go for weddings.
Wow.
All the way in Kogi, in Kwara, and it was so much fun. I'm so thankful for that church family. And going back to my own family, so that was how I grew up. Christian family. We prayed together. Family of 5, mother, father, and 5 children, and it was so beautiful. And one thing I really, really appreciate about my parents is they were not a typical Nigerian parent. You know how everybody's saying, when you do anything and they woes you and they slap you. And no, we didn't grow up in that environment.
Wow.
My parents never beat
Lucky
us. They never, and that's because of my dad. My mom would say, Dad spoils his girls, because we're 4 girls and 1 boy. Dad spoils his girls. Like, don't touch them, leave them. And he does that even when my own kids were young, and he comes around. He's like, just leave them. He's like that. So we grew up with so much love, so much affection. And I just really love my family.
Nice. And can you describe the relationship you had with your father specifically?
Oh, Daddy. My dad is amazing, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So Dad, and it's not just me, Dad is our friend. Beyond being a father, he's always been a friend. Thinking back to even when I was younger, not even now. Now, if you hear me talking to my dad, you will know it's my dad.
Wow.
Hey, Daddy, how far? What happened? What's happening? What's popping? I just say, hey, don't win, or he's calling another of my sister, Alaye Mishole. He's a bubbler. He's a bubbler.
That's how, I think there was a day I was talking to you. You told me that's where you got your cousin. There was a day I was looking at doing, I was like, where does she get this energy from? Oh my God.
No, my
it
dad
had to be DNA.
My dad is a bubbler,
Nice.
So, and I remember growing up, and I've shared this story before on some platforms. When I was about 9 or 10 years old, the church prefect in our class, it was a small school. I went to a small Christian school in Ibadan, Lifehouse International School. And we were just 8 in class. We were the first set. So 5 people in the class were chosen as prefect.
Wow, okay.
So I was one of the 3 that were not chosen as prefect. And I used to come either mostly third or 4th in class. So I'm like, why am I not a prefect? How did they pick these 5 and I wasn't part of them? So I got home to tell you that we did have a relationship with Dad. So I got home that day and I was telling my dad, I think we went to buy gas. And I was telling my dad, they chose prefects today and I wasn't one of them. And instantly it was like, you don't have to be a prefect. That you are already, see, and he started to tell me all the things about me. It was
Wow.
like, you're so responsible. I see how you look out for your younger ones. I see what you did, with your sister the other day. I see how you get their uniforms together and make sure it's ready the next day. I see in my mind, you're more than a prefect. You're a leader. And the way he just pumped me up that day,
You felt good.
I still feel that till date. That's why I'm not looking for
Validation.
award, validation. If I'm clear that this is what God wants me to do, I just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's not about, and anywhere I am, I'm also not looking for somebody to say, do this or put me in charge of something. If I see something needs to be
do
done,
it.
I go ahead and do it. And that really, really shaped my leadership skills. Anywhere I am, secondary school, anywhere. I remember in secondary school, my proprietor can just look around. Who is responsible? Don't you have for Labi? Dude, like from when I was like in GSS2, GSS3, he started giving me responsibilities that seniors,
Wow.
would normally
Wow.
have. Because I was always just ready. Like,
To-
what's there to do? How can we make this place a better place? And I just had so much confidence in myself.
Wow.
And I'm thankful for my dad for that. He believes so much in us.
Wow.
My goodness.
See, I always tell people, parents, I grew up where my parents, I don't think my dad has ever opened his mouth to say, I love you, to me. My mom, maybe recently, but growing up, it's not something they used to say. I always tell people that, especially my friends, if you have kids, speak these things to them. Let them know that they have it. You're a good example of what we're always talking about. You don't need validation from a man. You already know who you are.
Oh my God.
It's been pumped into you. And it's because people lack these things. That's why sometimes they fall into the hands of the wrong
I agree.
one. Or because they're seeking validation. They don't get it. So once they get it somewhere, I like the story and I thought that I would add this to it because it's something I always tell people. Open your mouth and tell your daughter she's beautiful.
Absolutely.
She's smart. She's
Absolutely.
intelligent. It's so,
Yeah.
or even your man who says, your boy, who
Yeah.
says your boy doesn't need,
Yeah.
girls especially,
Yeah.
because we're more
Yeah.
sensitive and everything.
Yeah.
But see
But
how
even
it has
boys.
shaped you.
Yeah.
All through life and not just at that time. And it's something you can,
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for that story.
Thank
That
you.
was, he hit a point in me because I always talk about this. Okay, so I was going to ask that what made him your hero, but I feel like this already explains it.
Yeah.
Or do you have any other things to add?
Honestly, dad is...
And what was childhood with him generally?
Dad is a friend. You know how, the other day, I was also talking with a few people in church and they were talking about how, your father's plate or your father's, the kind of plate, the kind of dishes they used to serve your dad or something like that. No go area. So I'm like, or the area where your dad sits. My house wasn't like that. So dad would come and he would take his food. He wants it served on the floor so we can all sit around him on the floor and eat with him. He's such a village man, even though he has PhD and what's and all this, but he's so down to earth.
Traditional man.
So when we all had our roles, there was one of us that the role was to pull his legs. You know how you pull the legs. Mine was he had some bumps on his face. Mine was to press those bumps, and some people was like, we all just, how
around him.
Yeah, all of us would just be around him. Somebody pressing his head. Somebody.
And your mom didn't get jealous.
No, my mom is very chill, laid back, and she just, every woman wants a happy children.
When you
happy
see
home.
them
so when you
together,
see that
you're
everything
just-
is happy,
that's okay
So
for you.
it was just so beautiful, and that's how it's not just me; it's all my sisters, even my brother. Yeah.
Wow, nice. So, did your family dynamics ever change?
Oh, yes.
And what
It
happened?
Did. It did. So you can imagine all of the stories I've been sharing. And all of a sudden, mom comes and says, dad impregnated a woman. And I saw my mom become a shadow of herself.
Wow.
I saw her cry so badly that you don't even know how to help. And you know how...
How old were you then?
I was in, I think, JSS2. So I had just started boarding school.
Okay.
I think, yeah. That was when I started boarding school. And we were told, I think we came home, and then mommy told us. And for me, I don't know how, of course, everyone was angry, but I can only talk about how I felt.
How you felt.
I felt, how you just feel, I came from a perfect family, even though, of course, right now I know that there's no perfection anywhere. Right now, with
maturity.
with maturity. And
Experience.
even, of course, we all want we all want God to keep working on us, but I'm not necessarily looking for perfection, Yeah. But then I just felt, I came from such a perfect home, lovely home, and then all of a sudden this happens. And I remember then thinking, can this just be erased? Can it not just happen? Like, can it unhappen? So I was thinking, how did my mom feel? And I saw my mom go through depression. Now I know it's depression because she just, would just be so moody. But what did she do? Then we didn't really have tools and things to really help you out of those things. She just knew that she was not always happy. And then that was when she started going to Winners Chapel. So we were still attending a family church, but she was more, she was really getting more life from Winners Chapel. And then she started taking all of us there. And she joined Wolfby, their Bible school. And those things just really helped her. So what am I trying to bring out here? Church, the word of God, the church family is like
Community.
is a community. It's like a big part of what can really help you. Talk to people, but good people, with kingdom people, and that really, really helped her. Not to help her get completely out of depression, but it helped her throughout all of those times, where she just got herself into church, and the word of God, and all of those things just really helped her. But for me, going back to school, I didn't even know how to tell my friends. I don't even know. So does it mean we will now have a half sister? As a young person, I didn't even know how to process it. We are not Muslims. And then I started to think, are they going to, then in Ekwa, they would announce, if maybe somebody misbehaves, they will actually announce it in the front of the church and say, this person is not, they used to call it Abebawi. That means you're put under discipline. Yes. Something like that. So they call my father out in the church to put him on that. So that means
because he was
he won't be an elder again. And then, I started thinking of all of those things. And I think that was my first experience with disappointment. Like, why did you do it? And trust us now, we now gathered. And I have a big sister. You think I have energy. My biggest sister is like a ball of energy.
Wow.
She's the one that knows how to organize. Then she called all of us and said, so we need to call daddy and tell him how disappointed we are and this and that and that. And then we called him and we did that. Not knowing that he was actually married to the woman.
Already?
So it wasn't just somebody got pregnant for you. Right? It was a matter of he had a court wedding with this woman.
Wow. So they actually had a relationship.
Yes, and they dated for so long.
Wow.
So we just couldn't wrap our heads around it. And I remember that night we called daddy and said, we're so disappointed. Sorry, we won't be. And by then he had gotten a job in Abuja. So she was living with him in Abuja. That was the plan. And then we're so disappointed. We're never going to come to Abuja to visit him. And he started to cry.
He started to cry.
Yes. He started to cry. So, honestly, when I think about my dad, I'm like, he's a great dad. But in terms of being a great husband to my mom, especially with all of that dynamics, I don't think I want that, right? But, looking at the roles in different ways, he's a great dad. He doesn't want to do anything to hurt us, and was so upset and was like, it's such a big mistake he has made. He doesn't even know what happened to him, blah, blah, blah. We're like, can you just divorce this woman? But that never happened.
Easy.
Yeah.
What I see is something I realize with time is there are two different roles. A person can be a perfect husband and not be a good father.
Yeah.
And they can be a good father
100%.
and not be a perfect husband.
100%.
And there's lots of things that as kids you may not even understand, right? So I don't want to go into that aspect. So how did this change your perception of him?
So honestly, when that happened, it didn't really change my perception of him. Okay. But I remember when I started to think men cannot be trusted. So it changed my perception about some things in life, not perception of him, because he remained a good father.
Yeah.
He remained a friend. If he doesn't hear our voice in one day, he would
still
call.
call.
He would. He was just my father is not someone that is high up there that you cannot connect with. He will talk
Relatable.
to you. We gossip with daddy. Like, oh my God. We gossip with my dad even more than my mom. Because my mom is very, calm and she's like, you're not supposed to be saying that. And my dad will say it. Leave us alone. So he was that kind of, so it was difficult to, of course, we ensured that he treated mommy right? But outside of that, he remained. So nothing really changed between our relationship after having that conversation and all of that.
Wow.
But my perspective about life, I was like, maybe people cannot really be trusted. This marriage of a thing, is it even worth it? I don't want to marry and then somebody will break my heart like this. I started thinking of all of those things. And those things started to stay in my mind. I remember when my friends in secondary school, some of them will be hiding to date. Those things they were never my thing, like trying to date anybody. In fact, I remember I reported a boy that was trying to date me and they beat the hair out of another boy on the assembly ground. Because the writing looked, the person didn't write the name, just wrote
So
like
they
an
thought it
anonymous
was someone
letter.
else.
So I was not like, so the proprietor now said, who do you think this writer? I said, it's this boy. They beat the hell out of him. I hope
He'll never forgive you.
They beat the hell out of him.
You as it's this person.
Oh, yes, I reported like I did not like boys.
Wow. Because I was going, so how much more and how far into life did this experience affect you?
Okay, so as I began to grow up, when I was in university, towards the end of my university, I stayed with my parents' bosom friends, like friends that they had from when they were younger. They were even their chief bridesmaid and things like that. So I have lots of family friends in Ilorin. So I stayed with them and I saw marriage in a different light. I saw marriage in a totally different light, just living with them for about 1 or 2 years.
And it was different from you.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, yes. I may not describe this man as a kind of dad that I have in terms of relationship with children. He loved his children, but not maybe gisting, but he loved his children. But I saw his relationship with his wife.
Okay.
I'm like, my goodness, I saw the way he cared about his wife and the way he would not let anything touch even family members. He would, and the woman too will share stories of even when they just started and all of that. And I just saw how a true Christian home should be. We would talk, I would ask them questions, and they were also interested, especially the children. Like, how did you guys cope when, when we heard that your dad married a second wife? We were like, oh my God, are they okay? Are they, Yeah. So.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
If we scratch the fact that your father married another wife, was he a bad husband? Did he
No, he wasn't.
take care and protect you?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't a bad husband. And that's why this life, honestly,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't understand.
complicated,
So when I'm
right?
talking about my dad, it's almost difficult to say some of the things that I did not really like, growing up. If you scratch that part, my dad, you see my dad and my mom when they come to church, you will not know that he has another wife. You should see their relationship. And even till date, I don't think he's someone that was cut out for polygamy. It just happened. I don't know how it happened. If you see the way he carries my mom, takes care of her, and on her, if you scratch that, he's a great husband.
Yeah, because he's still a good person.
Yeah.
So one assignment I'll give you.
Yeah.
And now you're older and everything. Maybe when he comes, he says, you said he's coming.
Yeah.
Have some time, just sit down. I just want to hear about this other person. How did it start? What happened? Was it that you fell in love? Was it a mistake? What happened?
Oh, no, he has told us a lot of
Really?
things. So the thing is, with men, it's a big weakness where you can, if you have someone flirting around you, that woman was a secretary. You have someone flirting around. If you are not firm, grounded, and praying, where God is saying, let this person go, get another, secretary and things. A lot of, well, maybe not a lot, he fell to that temptation. Okay. So that was what happened. And then you start to date. At times you don't want to do something. Then you do it the first time. By the time you do it the second time, it starts
Becomes a norm.
settling. By the time you do it the third time, you're like, okay, maybe it's even okay. And then it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
So I can easily see how that, spiral down into, you know what?
So it wasn't even
Let's-
someone like far away or anything.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with this woman?
So,
How did it start? I'm sure it started with resentment and everything, like hatred.
of course, and because we never really lived together. So our family house was in Ibadan, and then daddy got a federal position in Abuja.
Okay.
And then he moved to Abuja.
Oh.
So when he moved to Abuja, we used to go visit when he was just there. But when he married this woman, she moved to Abuja with him.
Oh.
Right. So when she first moved to Abuja, we said we were not going to go to Abuja to visit him again. But then he apologized and was just like, he's sorry, we should just have to live with it and all of that. Yeah. And then we started going. So it was just we never saw her as a mom, but she was,
You talk to her.
Oh yes, very well. Because
Okay.
we when we go to Abuja for holidays,
She's there.
in fact, she would take us shopping.
Nice.
And then she would teach us some things about just being I remember then she would say, as girls, you should only wear white pants so that you will wash it. There are things I remember her teaching us to. she would say with bra, that when you wear it, so that the breast will come up, you need to now put another thing, put it and sew it in. And, she's she's very into fashion. So I remember picking a few things
from her.
From her as well. And
What about her
that's
kids?
just been so for the children, even when I was young, I knew that the children were very innocent, right? They were sitting down quietly in heaven when somebody went to bring them. So how is it their fault? So they've always been sisters to us. I remember they used to come to Ibadan for holiday as well, and just having a
And how did your mom
three-year-old.
feel?
Oh, my mom at that time, and that was why we also started just settling. My mom was like, she has forgiven my dad.
Oh, wow.
She said she has forgiven him. Like, it's okay. They're not living together, so it's not like they're doing a new rogue or anything. They're not living together.
They're separate.
Yes. So, and then daddy would come and then spend time in Ibadan and go. He just had two homes. He was He just had two
Why
homes.
I asked that question is when you said you went to the new home and you saw how that person was taken care of. I think the only difference is that person, your father was probably at par in terms of taking care of his spouse and
beyond
kids.
taking care, I think what I saw was the spiritual unity.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw that as well. So beyond the taking care and all of that.
So
I saw
there's
the
something deeper.
Yes. I saw the spiritual unity. I saw how they were just really, really, they had this depth. There was just something different beyond, if it's the care and all of that, that was there. But there's something it's like God making a covenant with you that this is your wife. The moment you go to another woman, something will happen to you. That was the kind of relationship they had. And those are the kind of things he used to share.
Wow.
So I was like, wow. So this can be
interesting.
different. Okay. So I do definitely want something different for my own marriage. So this
That's the
can
next
work.
question I was going to say. That how did this experience, just all of it, how did it shape your expectation and your expectations for your marriage and the dynamics within your marriage?
So I discovered that around that age, 20, end of 19, like 300 level in third year in university, I started thinking of the kind of man I would love to marry. And I just had a peace in my mind that he would be a good man.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a peace in my mind. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And then I had different people, just friends that way. I had a lot of guy friends because I studied electrical engineering, class of 200, only 6 girls.
Wow.
So lots of attention on us, right? And not just our class, even the seniors, just lots
Generally.
of attention on girls around engineering.
not
Then,
much.
yeah, I had lots of male friends. And I knew some of them were interested in me. But it wasn't something I was quick to, let's just date this. I had friends that they were changing boyfriend, they were changing pants. We have boyfriends today, it's not working tomorrow. They
Go.
And I'll be laughing at them how? Are you not putting emotions into it?
Yeah.
And by the time I would date my husband, funny enough, it was one of my friends that brought him to my house. I was in my house. As the way I go to different places. It was in my house. I met my husband. And there was just
So,
something different
Tell
about
us a
him.
story. What's different? What was different about what struck you?
So I love this calmness. I'm used to, like, I have so many
Say
friends.
the way you're not calm. You like calm people. They say opposites attract.
I just love this calmness. I loved how real he was. He was
Down to
just
earth.
different. Yeah. Because I had people, there had one guy then that used to come. He would sit in our waiting room and be telling my mom, I'm the real one. I've come to stay. And in my mind, I'm like, who
To
told you some
marry
people?
you?
Yes. That he's a manager in this bank and that. And all those things were not, they were nothing to me. Like, who cares if you're I'm just like, this guy should even start going, you know. I had a couple of people that I knew were interested in me, but I just liked him. We started as friends, just talking. You know, he was actually looking for a girlfriend, and his friend brought him to me that I actually have lots of friends. Female friends.
So
that I
not
can
for
hook
you.
him up. Yes.
Not for
that
you.
I can hook him up. So I started showing him my album, you know, those cool albums. Like, do you want this one? This one is this one is that.
You didn't say, do you want this one? Me.
No. And then he will not see me in the picture and I say, this is the one I want. I say, oh no, I'm not looking for a boyfriend yet, but these are the ones. Anyway,
old
we
were
got
you
talking.
around that
I was 20 when I met Femi.
Okay.
When I met my husband, I was 20, and he was 24 when we met. And and it was just real. You know, he would tell me about his own family dynamics, and then I'll tell him about ours. And we just had lots of things to always talk about.
Okay.
And that was how it just spiraled down into marriage.
So did he have any baggage? And when I say baggage, not necessarily, you know, like your own story. Did he have anything? Because sometimes it's baggage because you have to kind of drop whatever it is, the impression or the, how do I say, whatever it is that you have created in your mind to enter into marriage clean, so to speak, right?
So-
Did he have anything from his end?
So Femi's family dynamic too was different. In fact, and that's why honestly it's not good to judge, and you always say that. So his parents were divorced. Now that is one word that, at that time, I don't even think I knew anyone that was divorced.
Wow.
You know how it is in all these our parents' generation now. They might
You
have more
stick
than
to
one
the
wife,
end.
but or they might be in a bad marriage, but yeah.
Stay there.
But they were so they were divorced. So my parents couldn't get it. So when I tell my parents, they'll be like, "Wait, can somebody not help them settle it? How are they even? How can they be divorced? You mean they went to sign the paper and they're divorced?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're divorced." So of course, all of those things affected him too. And because it was the last child, the divorce happened when he finished high school, going into university. It really, really, really
Wow.
affected him. But he was aware. He was aware of it, and because of that, he had a vision, you know, to just leave that environment, to purge, and just to for him to have a clear head.
Okay.
You
How
know.
many siblings did he have?
He
Does he have?
had three older ones, but
Okay,
one
he's
of
the
them
last.
passed.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
one of them passed when
Sorry
he was
to
in
hear that.
uni. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now I'm getting into your marriage.
Yeah.
You with your background and him coming with that, I don't know, maybe what I've seen, like for example, my dad's family, their dad had 3 wives, 18 kids. All of them made up their minds they didn't want to have, and none of the boys, I'm talking maybe 15 or 14 boys, have 2 wives.
Wow.
Just because they didn't like
saw
that.
the
You know,
old
so
dynamic, yeah.
did he come with anything like that? And then you come in, what happened? Was there a
Okay.
bang or anything?
So I think he also had it. Maybe he didn't even have it in his mind. But I remember when we first got married, if we have any argument, he would say, "It's not that deep. You know, we can just go our separate ways."
Oh.
Yeah, like this argument is becoming too much. I mean, I'm smiling. I'm like, oh, we are just starting. Like, that it won't even be interesting if we are not having
Fighting.
arguments. Like, no, I'm not your yes girl, and I don't need you to be my yes boy. You know, so we started having those conversations, and because we were both young. I married when I was 23, he was 27.
Wow.
I think it was easier. Maybe if he turned 40 before he got married, it might have been worse. Right, because you're already set in your ways.
Yeah.
But we're still
Yeah.
both growing. So we would sit down, and then I remember then if we had an argument, I'll be the first to say I'm sorry, but that these things happen. And
It's normal.
I started to school him, and after a while, till date, he's the one that will apologize.
Yeah.
After like maybe a year. And he's the one that will apologize, and he just started to see that true. Like you can't just lose a relationship so cheaply,
like
right?
Maybe because of what he's seen.
Yeah, so it's like, let's
Coming
just,
with that.
And I'm like, no. So when people see my husband and I now, they're like, oh, like, I really love your relationship. You guys work as a team, you guys. I'm like, but it's never always been like that, like from day one. Like, even though I never saw it as a problem, I'm just like, yeah, we're both work in progress. We're going to work through this. There are things I've had to compromise on, and there are things he's had to compromise on. We had lots of initial fights, even on parenting. We had Adulua, and we all of us in my family, we don't hit children. We don't
Because of where you're coming from. You were never hit,
my husband
right?
would be like, what? Why is he behaving like that? That's how children. Any little, and I'm like, no, we can't. So one day I got so angry, and I was like, you know what? I think we haven't decided on how we want to parent this. Can we sit down
And
now
talk about this.
and talk about it, right? And I see that those were the formative parts of my marriage. You see, those first 5 years. Now, a whole year might go and we've not even had any argument, honestly. Honestly, like, because he knows who I am. He knows the things that I love to do.
Yeah.
And he knows that I have the best interest of the family, either way, right?
Even if you don't agree, you still have. I always tell people sometimes, just focus on the issue, not on each other, because both of you probably have good, not probably have good intentions, right? It's just how you want to implement it that's different.
And he also always reminds me that doing whatever decisions you're making, it's not about you alone right now. It's about the family. How does it align with the family values? How does it help the family go forward? Think about that before you make decisions, right? So that has really, we've both grown a whole lot. But yes, I think we both he brought that into the marriage where he's just like, you know what, it's not that deep. I don't even have to marry. Let's just, let's just go our separate ways. And then I as well, he wanted, my husband is more of a one-on-one person. I don't mind having like a crowd. I will still function. So I noticed that when maybe too many people are around, especially not just an event, maybe especially for a long time, staying in the house for a long time. Yeah, those things start to draw us apart a bit. I see those signs. So over the years, I've seen what works. He loves intimate, and then he knows that I love people around. Like I get energy from that. So we just strike a balance around.
My husband's like that as well. His last birthday, someone came to visit him. I'm sure
This is not
he'll
around.
kill me for this. No, he was around.
Okay.
And next day, I was just like, where's this guy? I didn't see him. I just went to the room. He was lying there. He covered it up. Your visitor is downstairs. You left me to be talking to this person.
Why
He was
did you
like,
tell- You didn't tell him.
I'm like, oh yeah. Come. And he's like that. When there's too many people too, he retreats into the. He's like, I don't know, these people sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like people.
Now he's okay. He's actually like, if we have
I know he's
events,
okay.
Now he's okay.
I've seen you doing.
Now he's okay with it gradually, but he's not always
can
been like
be
that.
like, yeah.
And I just love even the relationship he has with my siblings. He loves them.
Wow.
He talks to. He's happy. He's actually happy that he has younger
People
ones,
to
because
talk to.
all my siblings, apart from my oldest one that is like his age, they are so.
And because he was last.
He
or
was
he
last.
is last.
Yes, he has very good relationship with
nice,
them.
nice,
So, yeah, it's exciting.
I would never think that because he doesn't look like a last born. You know, when you see a last born and all those tantrums, he doesn't look like one of them. I just want you to go a little bit deeper into how both of you, because this is where I feel a lot of people struggle. Homes struggle with, coming from different backgrounds, blending. Some people never get out of it. Like the way you said he was saying, it's not that deep. Another person will be like, why would you tell me that? But you didn't even see it as a problem. You just saw it as, okay, I'm working on this and things will change, and see how he's changed, right? Can you give us some of the strategies, or so just go a little bit deeper so that people going through this have specific things to take away? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So, with marriage, I think mindset matters too. And then also, I told you the background I was coming from. I never had issues about who I was, the value I was bringing to the table, and all of. So I didn't have any
Doubts,
self-doubt and self-worth issues. I did not, because that's a big part for people. You're already thinking you're probably not even good enough for this guy, and then he says stuff like that. It can put you back into your shell. But that wasn't the issue for me. So, and I sort of saw where that was coming from, and I'm like, you see what, you know what, we're gonna argue. If it's that one, we're not gonna agree on issues, and it will be okay. Right. Okay. So I think it's also the mindset is also a big part of it. And I've seen that these things that we went through, it's not, people don't go through it that way. And I've just seen how he has really changed from the man I married.
You married
in a good way.
Yeah.
Like I loved him then, but I even love him more now.
He's evolved.
Like whatever I want to do, I just tell him. And he's like, let's do this. At times he doesn't even necessarily want to do it. But then he's like, you know what? Okay,
why not?
Let's give it a try. Let's give it like serving in junior church. I never even thought it was something he would love to. I was just like, you know what, they need help there. Let's do this together. And I'm like, okay, yes, that's fine. You know. And now he's even the one that teaches. Most times when we're there together, I'm just telling the kids to stop making noise. He's the one, and he enjoys it. He's like, all these children are my children. So if there's anyone that is sick or that doesn't come to church, he's like, oh, they're my children. And just seeing him evolve, know, even coming to PCG, and because he's also risk averse, and I'm not. So those are some of the differences that we also have. Like we want to go into a project. He has seen all the risk like this. Me, I'm just focusing on the good. Like I'm like, we're going to.
And you need it.
This. Look at this. Look at this.
You need that person to make to say, look at this. Look at that.
So I remember when we're going to even start going to the church we attend now. PCG is like, it's going to be a lot of work. Are you sure we want to do this? Like new church. I said, let's do this. Right? So it took a while too. I remember we didn't get back to the pastor for like a week because it was, and in fact, I remember that day in the bathroom, we had, because it was like, I was like, I'm going to reply and say yes. And he's like, okay, reply, then I'm not going to the church. And
Can you imagine?
I'm like, we're already fighting before we even start. And then, at times when I'm hard like that, I'm like, is that really the way to go? Then I calm down. I'm like, you know what? I'll wait for you to be ready.
Why I said you need it, I'm not as energetic as you are, but when I want to do something, my eyes are on it. I remember when we were going to get a house here in Calgary, I was already tired of searching. I was like, anyone, let's pick one already. But my husband said, no, not yet. He has not seen that he's not satisfied. At some point, I was like, Faye, just wait until he says yes. Yeah. Otherwise, but I don't regret it. Like if I had picked one out of, I'm tired, let's just do one. I probably wouldn't have found, because, I just something love where I am right now. I can be here forever. Yeah. So that's why I said you need it. Sometimes someone to help you see, or just make you take a pause. Oh, yes. Sometimes. Like you spoke about self-worth.
Yeah.
It's so important. Yeah. I can imagine if you didn't have it, it would have, God forbid, maybe you guys will not be together.
Oh, yes.
Because resentment, you begin to say this person, and I'm speaking from experience. Yeah. How do you want to advise someone who already is in marriage and didn't get the opportunity to have that 100% self-worth before marriage, and they're in there right now?
You see,
how do they even get aware that they don't have it?
So as an adult, one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself is personal development.
Okay.
Personal development. If there are books you need to read them. If you need to join a book club, join that focus on self-help books. Those things are really, really powerful. If you didn't have someone that put it in you as a child, then you need to develop yourself into that person of worth. Yes, into that person of worth. And okay, so I'm speaking from this perspective, but this is me. Now, it doesn't mean everybody that comes from my family would say this, because we might have lived in the same house. Even twins that they gave birth to have two different experiences.
True.
Right?
True.
Maybe because you're the firstborn or you're the lastborn or I'm a middle child. Different experiences and how we see life. Right?
Yeah.
So I have people around me.
That's a good point.
Yes. So I do have people around me that struggle with self-worth too, where I'm constantly like, what do you even mean?
Yeah.
And maybe because of a particular failure in an aspect in life, or maybe, there are different things that contribute to this, especially in Nigeria, where you're really rewarded and respected because you're smart in school.
Yeah.
If you were not smart for any reason, maybe some people didn't even know how to study until they got to university and they were like, you know what, I'm actually so smart. Unlike secondary school, when they've already they finished you, they've labeled you, right? I have a sister like that, that not until much later in secondary school, they changed their school. But that had, really affected her, because I remember then even my dad would say, but Taylor Lumaka. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And he's not saying it in a bad way. It's just like, don't worry, we'll still support you in life. But Taylor Lumaka. Do you understand? So some of those things affect. It affects people. So now when me and my sisters are talking, when they say some things, I'm just laughing. I'll just be laughing because I'm like, oh, I see where that is coming from.
Especially those of us that, like, I'm the first girl. I'm second child. Like, I feel like a lot of things, my parents were harder on me.
Yes,
and I was more suppressed, compared to my younger ones.
I can imagine.
The third and because we're fourth, third and the fourth, the way they are and, the things they get away with. I'm like, those days, my mom, when she's cooking in the kitchen and I'm not there, I'm writing my death certificate. But there was a day I went back and I visited, after I got married, and she was cooking in the kitchen. I saw my sister in the room. Her leg was up doing. I was like, I went back to the kitchen. I came back. I was like, what am I seeing? I was like, Mommy, what's going on here? How are you cooking and she's not here?
They want to train the first child.
So sometimes they learn from you and then get better as they, I don't know, or they get more lenient. So that is such a good one. Yeah. So self-worth, if you feel like, I feel like it's awareness. How do you even know that it looks that, okay, I lack this thing?
I think you would start to know when some things happen in your life and you're like, why did I react this way? Why did I cry instead of speak out? Why did I keep it to myself? Why didn't I just say it? Why, when you start to ask yourself those questions. Some of the fights me and my husband fought in the first 5 years of our marriage, honestly, I look at them and I'm like, how? Right? Yeah, where I would scream and I'll be like, what? But right now is even because my sister lived with us in Aberdeen and she's like, and that was maybe after 5 years, so it was good. She was like, you and Uncle Femi were so good, but right now, even better.
Yeah.
Right? Even better. Because she sees things and she's like, oh my God, Uncle Femi agreed to this. You mean yeah. So I've seen that synergy grow between us where I can talk to him.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been such a beautiful conversation, and I didn't expect less.
And it's different.
It is different from because most people who know Doyi will be expecting some, but this is a different thing entirely. And I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two. But one thing, I want you to leave a message for a young couple who's finding it difficult. And this doesn't only happen to young couples. But mostly, because then they're still forming stage until, they become, until it gets to the norm stage. They're still trying to manage differences, especially with baggage. To see your background, see his background, and then the way he came casually with it. But now I'm sure if you say divorce, he'll be like, come. What are you? So
he doesn't even believe in it again. When people are saying they want, he's like, no, let's make this work.
Imagine the mind coming from him. Transformation. Like, my goodness. Can you see? And then people need to evolve as well. Evolve along with your spouse. It's so important. Tell somebody out there, a couple who's struggling. A lot of people I've seen, in fact, in Nigeria these days, marriage is, 2 years, 3 years, or anywhere. They at that forming stage, they're not able to go past it. And I see that you have been able to do it. So what words do you have for these people?
So for young couples struggling with their marriage, in the first few years, I want you to remember, why did you marry this guy? You know, all the things that gave me the butterflies about my husband, I still had them then. So I was in love. So all those fights meant nothing to me. I'm like, even my father that I'm saying that is my friend, we fight. So who are you that will not fight? Do you understand? We will have arguments, definitely. So I think if you love someone, you would take your time to explain things, and praying that the person also understands. Because at times when you see people falling apart, it's because some people have tried. Some people have tried even some of the things I did. It just didn't work. Right?
Yeah. It takes two.
It does take two. So I would say, I always say that I'm glad we were both young and wild. Like, you know, we were both young, and we just did things we wanted to do. And then, you know, and then you understand my point of view. And then we just kept going and going and going. And then there are things I would say I don't like. There are things they would say he doesn't like. And then with time,
you listen.
We both listened. Because we were in love with each other. He really loved me and I loved him. Like, I didn't even know he was my boyfriend, right? And he traveled, and I was like, okay. And then within a year, as soon as he got a job, it was like, I want to marry you. Let's get married.
Wow.
So I didn't. My sisters were not married. My older sisters were not married. So the whole thing was
23 is young.
Yeah, it was just like fun to me. Like, really, we should get married just like that. And before I even traveled to meet him, it was funny. We were fighting because we did the introduction in his absence, and I bought human hair back in 2009. It was like maybe 100K. Wow. And I was telling him, I bought this hair, so expensive. Oh my God, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, why did you buy hair for 100K? And he was so upset. And then I was like, why is he upset? So I went to meet my dad. I'm like, why is he upset? He's angry that I bought hair for 100K. Is it his money? You know, my dad was like,
there's a value
that
behind
if it's
it.
this type of fight people be fighting, I will not side you. Because you now called my mother, Mommy Nike, how much is the hair you normally I'll be 5,000, I'll be 3,000. You want to use 100K to buy, you understand? So, but for me, those things are just fun and getting to know each other. But he was serious. He was actually serious. But the way I was just like,
and for men, it's really serious-minded. Our values, do they align?
But honestly, when I see my husband, he's so relaxed with a lot of things. Just like, okay, we've come a long way.
Wow. Also, for older couples, what I see or what I think, I don't know, I'm not a specialist or anything, is you spoke about, you know, how you evolved and how he has evolved as well. What I see a lot of times is that one of them, a man or a woman, evolves, and the spouse is not, you know, moving along.
I've seen that.
That causes problems as well.
I've seen that.
What did you have?
I'm thankful. I'm so thankful that my husband evolved and caught on with my vision. Because honestly, when
you
we
were
came,
moving really fast.
So when we were in Aberdeen, we were both doing 9 to 5, fine, you know. But it was a struggle, especially with the kids who go out very early in the morning, come back in the evening. So when I told my husband I wanted to go into entrepreneurship, he was like, thank God you have more time for the kids.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my vision. My vision was, I want to build an empire. I'll probably even be busier, you know. So when things started evolving and I really started understanding the vision that God was giving me, I had to start carrying him along. And I started to pray that God should let him get it. And, you know.
It's important.
Yes. So initially, it was like, what is all this that we're doing? We're spending so much money, you know, this and that. And then with time, he started to understand, I see what you're doing. It's not even about makeup. You're trying to help women. Oh, that's so inspiring. And then he hears me speak and and then I now start with him. I'm like, Femi, what's your why? What is the thing that is even driving you to do all the things? He's like, don't you, please. You know, so we use it as, so we joke with you, like, me, I just want to break poverty in my lineage. I don't know all this why that you're talking about, you know.
That's going deeper.
It's you that you want to be empowering women up and down. Me, I just want to break, you know. So we joke with things like that. Then we read books together. There's some books I'm like, Femi, you need to read this book, or just listen to the summary. And with time, I started just involving him. You know, I think the mistake some people make is, they're even fighting the spouse because, can't you see, this is what you should be doing. No, I'm just involving him like, Femi, let's do this. I want to do this. And then a big, very big blessing for us right now that has also really strengthened us and helped us to really evolve, especially spiritually, is the church that we attend now and the mindset that we took in while we were going in there. So I'm glad that, so it's something that we talked about, and I'm like, you know what, we're not here to sit down and watch this church fail. It started. We need to see it as our own. And I'm glad the way he takes it. It's even most people see me and they're like, Femi is more serious than me. He's very serious with the things that are given to him. Like the Bible study that he leads, he takes it like his baby, right? Where me, I'm still like, I've not met with my team for, he's meeting, he's talking. If he doesn't see somebody in church, one of his members, he calls them.
Wow.
I need to take care of my sheep.
I know.
Yeah. So
and this is someone who was initially reluctant.
Yeah, he would just rather hide maybe in a white church.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dwayne.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. We don't take it for granted.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you have learned a thing or two. I am sure. So before you go, I have some fun questions to ask you. What is a quirky habit you have that not many people know?
What's quirky?
Something weird.
Habit. Let me see.
Something maybe funny, not normal.
Can I call a friend? Can I call my husband? Or my sister?
Tell you your habits.
Or my sister?
And sometimes it's other people that tell you your habit. You don't know.
Quirky habits that I have that people do.
You don't bite your nails,
Oh no, I don't bite my nails.
I was checking.
I do this. I actually bite my, what's this part called? The inner part of my...
That's what it's called, inner part of your mouth.
Of my mouth. I actually bite it.
Okay.
I bite it, especially when I'm listening really hard to someone. I'm getting something. Yeah.
Okay, another question. If your life was a movie, I'm interested in this one. What would the title be?
That's serious. Oh. If my life was a movie, what would the title be? Coat of many colors.
See, that's a good answer. Okay,
Because I'm excited about new things. Honestly, I'm just excited about, you know what? Oh my God! So I can do this or I can do that. It makes life exciting. Like every morning,
I think that's a good title.
Every morning I wake up with a burst of energy. Like, what can we do today? And it doesn't mean things don't go wrong. Things go wrong, especially with business. I've made several mistakes. I've made mistakes. But I'm just still so energetic. Like, okay, this is a vision. If this strategy doesn't work, God, please show me the strategy that would work. Right. So I'm not quick to say we're shutting this business down or is there
I can see you from the business front.
Yeah.
I can see you from, is it the speaker front? I see you from the mother front.
Yeah.
From the wife, from the realtor front. So coat of many colors is good. What is the best piece of advice you've ever heard or received?
I think it's the fact that whatever you do, because we're married, whatever you do, it's not about you.
You said it.
And he always says it about himself too, that he thinks about the family first. How is it going to move the family forward? How does it align with the value? I think that's one thing that he kept ringing in my head, especially when I'm trying to do different things. It's like how does it align? How does it all come together to align with the family values and to really help us as a family, not just to you. Nice. So it has helped me to be selfless and less selfish. Because it's very easy to be for any spouse to be selfish. Just focus on your own dreams.
Thanks.
Don't care about other people's dreams. So there are times there are things that I think about now and I'm like, I can't even do it yet because I really don't have the capacity for it yet because I need to focus on this part of my children's life and time is limited, right? Yeah. So I'd rather do this now. They will soon be in university, so that those things put me in check. Otherwise, I will be all over the place.
That's nice. If you could time travel, would you go to the past or the future?
The future, past,
and why? Maybe you want to change something in the past.
Oh no, I would rather not change anything. I love every part of my story, every part of it
coming together to shape who you are
to shape who I am. But I would time travel to the future.
Why? To do what?
I want to see all the things that God has promised me already.
And then you now come back and walk towards it. And I know you.
Like, can I just even enjoy it? Even though I believe it. I really believe it, even without seeing it. Because faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doyin. It's
you
been
so
a
much.
beautiful time listening to your story. And I have learned one or two things. I believe that people out there too have learned one or two things. Thank you so much for sticking to the end, sticking with us to the end. Please like, share, subscribe. We want to hear from you. Add your comments in the comment section. Until next time on another episode of Live Couch with Faye. Bye.